Hello, everyone. I'm Nader Sarabi from the JP Morgan Healthcare Investment Banking team. On behalf of JP Morgan, it's my pleasure to introduce Mark Foley, Chief Executive Officer of Revance. As a reminder, we will try to reserve a few minutes at the end for Q&A, so if you have any questions, please submit them online using the Ask a Question feature at the bottom of the screen. I will now turn it over to Mark. Thank you.
Great, thanks Nader, and thanks to the entire JP Morgan Healthcare team for having us as part of the conference. Look forward to giving you a company update here today. You'll be able to click through the slides on your end, so I'll do my best to reference the different slides so that you can follow along. So moving from slide 1 to slide 2, this is our forward-looking statement, as there will be different comments that we'll be making about potential forward-looking results, which may end up differing. Moving on to slide 3, I'll start with a company overview and then walk you through more of the details of our different platforms and products. Slide 4, we're in the process of bringing forward a new standard in aesthetic and therapeutic procedures with our core foundational neuromodulator, daxibotulinum toxin A4 injection. And we're going to leverage this learning and know-how and technology across both the aesthetics side of the business and the therapeutic side of the business. On the aesthetic side, we partnered our unique neuromodulator technology with both a hyaluronic acid filler and a services platform via the HintMD FinTech platform, and I'll talk more about those. On the therapeutic side, we've made great progress in terms of advancing different therapeutic programs and clinical trials, which give us increasing confidence in the terms of the performance profile of the product. And then lastly, we've also expanded our opportunity through a partnership with Viatris in a biosimilar to Botox program, and expanded our international footprint with a partnership with Fosun, covering China, Hong Kong, and Macau on both aesthetics and therapeutics. Turning to slide 5. We're entering really attractive growing markets, and we start with a market opportunity of over $6 billion in 2019. This is comprised of 3 major categories. The first one is the neuromodulator market. Today, or through 2019, about $4.8 billion in size. Again, great growth characteristics. On the aesthetic side, growth is being driven by increasing engagement by different groups of consumers in aesthetic treatments. And you're seeing it across the continuum. So younger patients are engaging more to go for certain looks. So think about lip procedures. People living longer want to retain the best version of themselves. They're engaging. We're also seeing more men. So we continue to be encouraged by the aesthetic trends for neuromodulators across all these different groups. And then on the therapeutic side, there continues to be a growing number of different therapeutic indications which provide potential growth opportunities. There's also the hyaluronic acid filler market in North America, which in 2019 was about $1 billion market. Again, really nice growth characteristics for all the reasons that I mentioned previously, and that's expected to grow to about $1.9 billion in the U.S. by 2025. And then the last piece of this is our FinTech platform. Earlier in 2020, we acquired HintMD, which is a payment processing platform that will have other values that we can provide to practices. We estimate that market in 2019 was a $500 million plus market and growing to about $700 million in 2025. So we really like where we're positioned both in aesthetics and in therapeutics, and the fact that we're in markets that have really good growth dynamics around them. Moving on to slide 6, we've assembled a top-notch management team that have a breadth of experience, some coming from the pharma side of it, where they've seen development of biologic products. They understand the process for getting products approved and sort of how to move things through the pipeline. We've also assembled a great commercial team that appreciates and understands sort of the aesthetics market, as well as the therapeutics market. So we really feel like we're entering this commercial phase with a very strong team. Move on to slide 7. 2020 was a transformational year for Revance. The prior 20 years, the company was a preclinical company, investing in great clinical trial and development work. But in 2020, there were a number of significant changes to the company that have really positioned us in a good place going forward. So first on the Revance Aesthetics franchise, we ended up acquiring the U.S. rights to a range of hyaluronic acid fillers from Teoxane in January, which has really laid the foundation for our commercial organization as we moved into 2020. We also completed the acquisition of HintMD, the fintech platform that I referenced, and I'll talk more about that in detail going forward. We launched both of those products as well, starting in September of 2020, and then just reported out our first full quarter of results in Q4 of 2020. We also received the opt-in decision by Viatris for the biosimilar to Botox program, so we're very encouraged about our ability to participate in the short-acting neuromodulator category. And then we had a number of different trial readouts, phase 2 data readouts for upper facial lines, dealing with forehead lines, crow's feet, and full upper face. And then we also submitted and received acceptance of our first BLA for glabellar line treatments, and received a target PDUFA date of November 25th. And I'll talk more about that a little bit later as well. In addition to sort of the progress we made on our aesthetics franchise, we also made a lot of progress on our therapeutics franchise. That program is a little bit further behind from a commercial standpoint, but we had 3 significant, indication programs that were underway last year. The most advanced is cervical dystonia, where we reported out our phase 3 study results, which were very encouraging and also very consistent with what we saw in our aesthetic program, where we saw high response rates and a good duration of effect in terms of the product. We also announced that we completed the enrollment in our open label safety study. That data will read out in 2021. We also made great progress in our upper limb spasticity trial. We completed enrollment in that program, and hats off to our team who navigated a challenging COVID environment to complete enrollment in that phase 2 program. We're reporting out the results from that phase 2 program in Q1 of this year. And then we also reported out our phase 2 results in our plantar fasciitis trial. We did see a signal where we saw consistent improvement relative to placebo, but it wasn't statistically significant. So we're going to park that program for now, but it helped sort of clarify our path forward on our therapeutics franchise. And then we also made significant investments in our infrastructure and in our commercial organization. We hired over 100 salespeople, all virtually. It was a significant lift for the organization, but we leaned into the technology and were able to attract a very, very high quality field and commercial organization. So we're excited about that. And then we also padded our balance sheet. We raised $127 million through a equity capital raise. And then we also did a convertible financing round where we raised $287 million. The combination of those two gives us cash into 2023. So we're very well capitalized as we move forward and execute on these different initiatives. Moving on to slide 8. Recently, we pre-announced our fourth quarter and full year 2020 results. We indicated that we expect full year 2020 revenue to come in the $12.5 to $13 million range, in Q4, which was our first full quarter of launch, between $9.5 and $10 million. We're very encouraged with sort of the initial traction that we're seeing in our launch, in particular with the hyaluronic acid fillers from Teoxane. We also talked about our HintMD fintech platform and indicated that we ended the year on an annualized run rate of better than $200 million. So we